Hello friends. Hi, this is Sarah. Today I'm going to take you through to the HR organization and global payroll of Business Pointers ERP application. This is the HRMS module overview of Business Pointers. It consists of different types of submodules. So we have the administration, the workforce, self-service, the recruitment submodule, succession submodule, performance management module, travel and expense management, attendance management, payroll management, benefit management, training management module, project HRMS, reports and dashboards. We will start with the administration setup. So in the administration, we first define all the masters, which helps us with the functionality of the software. So creating a location type, basically. So in Business Pointers, you create different types of locations. So for example, if you see on the screen, we have corporate office, regional office, head office, city office. Depending upon your location types, you can configure the location type master. Then this is how we add the location type into the system. We click on the edit location type master details. We type the unique location type code and the location name. Then we have the location master. So in the location master, you can define the different types of locations where your offices are located. So for example, if you see there are different types of location names over here. For example, it could be any location name like Florida or Virginia, okay, different types of locations. And this is how we add the location in the location master with the location unique location code, the location, the open date, the calendar, the country, the state, the location address, the contact number, the location head details, the head name, job title, email address, contact number, and what type of a location it is. If it's a corporate office, a head office, or a regional office, you can tick mark any of it. Next, we'll move on to defining departments in the system. Now, you can define different departments, okay, with the department codes, okay, into the system. Now, if you see here, these are the different departments. This is the department master, an overview of the department master. You can see the list view of all the departments over here. Now, we have different departments in the organizations like the HR department, the finance department, the operations department, and different departments. This is how you add a department. You click on the add edit department details, department code, the name, the open date, the email address. Okay, if you want this department to appear on the CRM module, then you can tick on this. You can define the head name, the job title, the email address, and the contact number of the department head. Next, we will move on to the job categories. So in job category master, as you can see, you can enter different job categories of the organization. So it can be an HR head, an ERP consultant, operations, or HR. Different types of job categories can be defined into the job category master. Now, adding a job category, again, you click on add edit, job category details. You can go ahead and add job category in the job category master. Now, defining job titles or designations into the system. So here, if you see here, we have the list of job titles. Now, if you can add different types of job titles here, so senior technician, phlebotomist, radiographer, manager, accounts head, sales manager, sales associate, depending upon the different types of job titles in your organization. You can go ahead and define the job titles in the job title master. Now, job title master, this is how you add a job title. You have the job title code. So job title codes, every particular code that you assign to a job title, a department, or a job category is always a unique code that's identified by the system. And using that, you can search the different types of data into the system using the unique code that you have assigned to each of your master data. Now, this is the job title, name, the subordinates, if it's allowed. If yes, then you select yes. The factory, the calendar, the degree type, the specialization. Okay. Now here you can put the job description of the job title, the roles and responsibilities, the industry range, the job category, the types, the skill, the certification, the expected competency score, the weight, and the remarks. Now, whenever you create job titles or locations, you can go ahead and map the particular company with the location. So the system needs to know which company is located at which particular place or which particular location. So we need to map the particular company with the locations that we have created using the assign location screen. Then we have to map the job titles with the locations and the department. So if you see this, this is how we assign the job title with the location and the department. We need to select the location, the department, and job title, and we click save over here. And that's how we map the job titles with the departments and the locations. So reporting structure, every organization has a reporting structure. So this is how we define the reporting structure. So basically, which department or designation is reporting to which particular department or designation needs to be predefined into the system, into the administration setup. Now, if you see this is how we define the reporting structure. So these are a list of all the reporting structure into the system that's already been configured. So this is the reporting structures screen. This is how we define it. So if you see this, this is the location, the department name, and the job title. The reporting type can be a traditional one manager or can be a multiple managers, depending upon the organization. And this particular location, department, job title is reporting to which department or designation. So this is how we define the hierarchy into the system. That a particular sales associate is actually reporting to a sales manager. That's how we define the hierarchy into this reporting structure. Now we have defining leave policies in the HR organization. Now every organization has different types of leaves. For example, paid leave, medical leave, compensatory leave, half-day leave, sick leave, okay, casual leave. So depending upon the organization, you define the leave types into the system. This is the leave type screen. You can see two of the records that's been defined into the system, medical leave and paid leave. This is the leave type. This is how you add it. Then we have the leave setup. So this is here you define the leave policy of the organization. Policies defined. So you can go ahead and define leave policies of your organization. So if you see this, we have the leave type, the employee tenure, the leave credit frequency, if it's monthly or yearly, okay. If the leave credit is on actual working days, or if the leave credit is fixed every month, or if it should lapse after the year end or no. Okay, so this is the leave policy that you define. Then we have the payslip components. So different types of payslip components of the salary can be defined onto the payslip component master. So we have so basically this is what you define according to the need of your organization. What all components you offer to the employees needs to be defined onto the payslip component master. So we have again different types of components. For example, gross salary, medical allowance, a work permit, visa, legal authorization, any employee food contribution. Again, the pay components, the payslip components always have a type. If it's an earning, an allowance, or a deduction, that can be defined it over here. Now we have the pay policies. Now different types of pay policies of the organization can be created onto the pay policy master. This is how you add a pay policy. Okay, so we have the pay policy code, the name, the country, the state, the city. Pay setup master is selected from here, the pay calendar. Okay, and if the calculation is based on the actual working days, can be selected over here. This is the pay setup master. The pay setup master helps you to create different types of pay setups of the organization. So here you select the pay component name, the payslip component name that you have created. Then what is the calculation based on? Okay, if the calculation type is based on absolute or percentage, and the value that can be defined over here. This is the shift master. In shift master, you can define the shifts and the break timings that needs to be assigned to the employees. So different types of shifts of the organization can be defined onto the shift master. This is how you add a particular shift into the shift master. So shift code, shift name, the time from the time to the total working hours, the total break time, what is the effective date, full day minimum hours is how much, half day minimum hours is defined, including if in break time is included in the working hours, if overtime is applicable, if it's a flexible shift or an overlapping shift, that can be assigned over here. Now next we have the overtime setup. In overtime setup, you can define the overtime hours. In the next we have the overtime setup. In overtime setup, you can define the overtime hours and the calculation for the overtime hours. Reimbursement of the overtime hours can be given to the employee in the form of overtime pay or leaves. This is the overtime setup screen where you can define overtime records. This is how it's a leave or an encashment. What is the calculation based on? If it's a pay per day, minimum hours, maximum hours, rate. Okay, what is the buffer time? Or if okay, so this is how we add the overtime setup record into the system. You create a unique overtime setup code, the overtime policy code, the overtime policy name, what is the overtime type. So if the benefit type is encashment, you select encashment or leave, depending upon the overtime policy. Calculation if it's based on pay per day, okay, the minimum hours, the maximum overtime hours, the per hour rate, what is the buffer time, and then you save. Okay, next we will move on to creating employees into the employee master. Employees can be created in the employee master in the HRMS module. This is the employee master screen. Here you enter the employee details, okay, assign shift to the employees and then updating it. So creating an employee, filling up all the details of the employee, the personal details, okay, the address, the payroll, the payroll setups, policies, the leave policies that we have created can be defined over here. The travel and expense management, the benefit management, or the benefit policy that the employee enjoys can be put onto the benefits. What is the qualification of the employee can be put onto the qualification tab. The reporting structure that we have defined can be put into the reporting tab. The attendance, if it's managed via timesheet or manually or by biometric systems, can be put into the attendance management tab. The performance evaluation can be put onto the performance evaluation tab. If there are any resources that's assigned to the employees, can be put onto the assigned resources. The attachments or the personal the employee files or the employee documents can be uploaded onto the attachments tab. Okay, next we will move on to the attendance module. Now this is how you see, if you see if the employee has worked any extra overtime, in extra hours, the overtime hours are visible. So the attendance can be captured via biometric systems, or the HR can upload the attendance into the system using this import attendance or the quick import functionality. This can be done via timesheet, or it can also be done manually, depending upon if which particular process the organization is following, or if the organization needs any integration, that can also be done into the attendance management. Now, next is assigning shift to an employee. While creating an employee, a shift needs to be assigned to the employee with the shift defined that we have defined into the shift master. So this is how you assign, you select the shift, you click on assign into the system. Assigning overtime policy to the employee. Now into the attendance, you can also define under the overtime setup, you can define the overtime policy that you have defined into the overtime setup master. Any late mark setup policy can also be defined onto the late mark setup. If in case if the employee is late, you can define by what hours he's late, then the late mark setup, the late mark policy will be applicable to that particular employee, depending upon what we have defined into the late mark setup master. Next is the daily attendance with overtime hours. This is what we have seen with the overtime hours. Now, creating user logins. Now, the system gives you access to create different types of users depending upon their roles. If it's an HR, the HR gets access to the full HRMS module. If it's a manager, he only is able to access the manager self-services and different approvals or approval related or employee management, like if you manage the employee details, the manager self-service user is created for him. A super user will have access to all the super, all the powers. Basically, he will get into the system to be able to perform in each and every functionality. And there are 4 types of user logins. Employee self-service, wherein the employee is able to log in through the self-service portal. The manager gets the rights to, approve. Basically, the approval rights are given to the manager. The super user will have all rights, and the normal user will have a particular rights that are assigned to the normal user. So you can create different types of roles into the system, and according to the roles, you can create different types of users into the system and assign the roles to the users. User authorization. So this is the user master screen. Okay, this is the user type. This is how you select the user type. If it's an ESS user, like the employee self-service user, a manager self-service user, a super user, or a normal user. In the role master, you define, you create different types of roles in the role master, and you assign the roles to particular users. This is how the employee login via portal. This is the uploading. Okay, so you hear uploading leave opening balance. Basically, this is nothing but you can basically, whenever you migrate from one particular software to another, you always need to define the opening balance. The system has the option for you to upload those. So for example, if it's a mid-year, you can always go ahead and upload the leave opening balance for the employees into the system by clicking on the import button. So we have the import interface into the business pointers module, wherein once you click on the import button with the particular template that you have created with the opening balance of the employees, within just one click, the data gets imported into the system. So this is how the import interface looks like for uploading the leave opening balance into the system. This is the leave process. So leave process is wherein the employee logs into the self-service portal, puts the leave request, submits it to the reporting manager, and the reporting manager approves the particular leave through the manager self-service by logging into the manager self-service portal. This is how the employee leave request screen would look like when the employee will log into the employee self-service portal. So if you see this is where we have the employee name, the location, the department, the manager name, the applied date, what is the leave type we need to choose it, if it's a paid leave or a medical leave, what is the leave balance, what are the leave from and the leave to dates, what are the applied total days, and then you click on save. Then when the manager logs into the manager self-service, he is able to see this leave request approval screen, and he's able to either approve the leave request or reject the leave request. This is how you upload the attendance through the quick import functionality into the system. So this is how you do it manually, uploading the file, and once the file gets uploaded, it gets mapped with the employee code, the in time, the out time, and the attendance date, and then you click on import. So this is the attendance imported. This is how the imported attendance sheet would look like. Here you are able to search a quick grid search for the employee by their name, location, department. You can, or the employee code, you can go ahead and search the attendance for the employees. Again, this is daily attendance sheet with overtime hours. This is the payroll process. So again, how we upload the opening balance for leaves, we need to go ahead and upload the opening paycheck for each employee through the import interface. Okay, if it's a migration from one software or to another, or from a manual process to a particular software, you go ahead and upload the opening paycheck details. So the system allows you to download the sample paycheck opening template, okay, and then we are required to put the required details that the template demands, and then the file is uploaded. Then we click on the import button, and then again the file gets uploaded from the upload section, and then we do an import under the action button. Executing the payroll. Now the system gives you access to execute a single payroll or multiple payrolls through the payroll wizard. So by filtering, so you get different types of filters over here. So you can filter by location, department, or just employees. So if you see this is how you just go ahead and execute payroll for a single employee, okay? But usually organizations would need to run the payroll for an entire location or for an entire department in one go. Okay, so this is how you can go ahead and filter via the operations department, for example, and all the employees under the operations department will get filtered over here, and then you just click on it and you go ahead and execute the payroll for multiple employees. So if it's an overtime, if the employee has worked overtime, you should be able to see the overtime hours over here. Now, after the payroll is executed, the payroll needs to be approved by the managers or the higher authorities. So here, if you see the pending payroll processing, so you just need to go ahead, select the particular executed wizard, and then you go ahead and approve the payroll wizard. So this is how you approve the payroll wizard for multiple employees. So if it's for multiple employees, this is how it would look like. So after the payroll is being approved, you go ahead and check the paycheck history into the paycheck history section. This is a list of all the paycheck history under the paycheck history screen. Now next we have the reports. So we have different reports that you can go through that are predefined. There are different types of predefined reports into the system, but depending upon your requirement, you can also go ahead and create different reports using our query designer engine. So these are sample reports: HRMS master data report, employee turnover report, okay, employee annual salary report, employee salary report. For in inquiries, you can go ahead and check our website, www.businesspointers.com, or you can email us at demo@businesspointers.com. Thank you.